Okay. Yeah. All right, I believe we're on. Welcome to worship at Patchwork Central, in here, out there. We're glad that everyone has joined us in whatever mode you have joined us. So tonight we're going to have a special treat. Our main presentation section is going to be our slideshow and video from the children's program from the past school year. So Amy puts together photographs and slides, and then we'll also see a video that the children themselves wrote and illustrated and put together. So we will do that. So we'll sing first, and after that we'll do names, but we'll also do, I'm gonna explain something real quick here to be thinking about. So one of the foundational concepts in our children's program is called sparks. A spark in this context is anything that ignites your imagination or your passion. It can be something you do for a living, or it can be a hobby, but it's something that you really get into, something that you want to spend time doing and get better at doing. And so I thought we would also share our sparks along with our names. So after we sing, when we share our names, if you wouldn't mind, just share one of your sparks. But first we'll sing This Is the Day. It's number 57 in the Patchwork Songbook. And let's stand and sing. And so real quick, also for those of you out in Facebook Live land, if you want to put in the comments section, you can put in a spark along with your name in the comments section. All right, let's sing. This is the day that the Lord has made, that the Lord has made. We will rejoice and be glad in it, and be glad in it. This is the day that the Lord has made. We will rejoice and be glad in it. This is the day that the Lord has made. All right. So as I said, we'll draw ourselves into community by sharing our names and sharing a spark, if you wish. So my name is John, and one of my sparks is tabletop role-playing games, like Dungeons and Dragons.
I'm Karen, and I like to watch movies. Classics is good, but it's interesting to check out many different. My name is Darlene, and I like to watch the boats and the blowers.
My name is Philip, and I guess I'm a reader. I'm reading about UAB basketball team as a crash in the aftermath right now.
I'm Helen, and I enjoy arranging flowers.
I'm Gail, and I enjoy eating at interesting restaurants and hopefully sharing some interesting things that I cook.
Bill, current spark is tomato plants.
Excellent. Well, thank you everyone for gathering, as I said, and we'll see. Oops. Let's see if we've got any sparks online here. Don't see any yet, but maybe we'll share some in a moment. All right. And then next, we do celebrations. I did not see any birthdays or anniversaries on the calendar. Does anyone have a birthday or anniversary or day of celebration coming up this week? Taxes. Tomorrow is tax day. So maybe the day after is a day of celebration, especially for CPAs, I guess. Any others? Okay. Amy's in the back doing some technical stuff, but she's up next. So I'll say that we did have not this past week, but the week before, we had our children's program end of the year parties. And of course, due to COVID restrictions, the way that we're doing our celebrations is instead of having all of the children and their families and friends and all of that in the same room at the same time, we spread it out over multiple nights. So we actually had 2 nights of celebrating the Arts and Smarts children's program for the school year. And we had, I think, a wonderful turnout. Families came, children came, and the slideshow was shown, food, pizza was had, a lot of, I don't know if Amy has other things she's going to share about the celebration evenings, but it was a good time. So.
Okay. So I'm going to show, some of you may have already seen the videos that I posted online. So I'm going to show those and just talk a little bit about them and tell you a little bit more about everything that happened throughout the school year. It was, and as for everything, an interesting year as we tried to keep everyone safe from COVID and tried to, tried to manage a group and be here together. But even despite all that, I think we had a really good year. We focused on a core group of families rather than having as many families involved as we normally would have, so that we could focus on them and just focus, which was really good because we really did get to know the kids and the families. So what I am going to try to do is show the video both to the people at home and to the people here at Patchwork. And I'm going to talk just a little bit about what you're looking at. And if anyone has any questions about what you're looking at. So the first video I'm going to show is just the overview from the whole school year that I put together. So like I said, we started the year out not really sure what was going to happen. We started out with a great group of interns. We had more interns this year than we normally have. And it was partly intentional in order to have a really committed group of people who would be here every day, who would get to know our procedures and could help us try to maintain an environment that would hopefully not cause COVID to spread. So we did a whole lot of things outdoors. Oop, it skipped. I don't know why it's skipping. Let's see what happens next. So we started the year making masks, and the kids learned how to use a sewing machine, which is pretty cool, in order to make their own masks. And And they also decorated masks using fabric markers, and then they could wear those while they were here at Patchwork. We combined tutoring and the art program this year. And then, as everyone who's been here for worship has seen, we moved all the tutoring carols into the main room so that there could be good airflow. And so any kid, every day that the kids came, they got asked the question, do you have any homework? And if they had homework, they got matched up with an adult and were able to work on that homework. If their parents specifically also said they wanted the kids to have some skill building outside of homework time, then they would also do things like reading and playing educational games too, in addition to the homework. So some parents chose to have their kids participate in even more things. We even had tutoring outdoors one day. And then Susan Fowler came in the fall and shared the story of Jamaica Louise James. And we told it out in the meditation area. And Jamaica Louise James, the story is that she took her sparks, which her spark was drawing, and her mother and her grandmother encouraged her to draw. And so she drew portraits of all the people in her neighborhood, and they hung them in the subway station near her house, and everybody walked by and got to see their portraits. So we've been using this story actually for almost a year now, and slowly working toward having the kids make their own self-portraits of themselves doing their spark. So it all started back last fall with the kids doing a mandala that showed what they like to do. So they listed the things they like to do, and then they drew these mandalas that have images on them that show what the kids' sparks are. Also in the fall, Bill Heminger came and dug sweet potatoes with the kids. And it's always a fun day and a fun activity because you never know how many you're going to find. And we weren't sure how many there were going to be down there, but there were actually a lot of sweet potatoes. And we got quite a few out of the garden. The Christmas party, we celebrated one successful semester. So we always do extra Christmas activities. And the kids shop in the Christmas store where they can get presents to take home to their families. So it's always a fun time. And then starting the spring semester, we did knitting with the kids. We had one of the interns whose spark is knitting. So she shared that too. We also did pour painting, which we did last year. And the kids really enjoyed it last year. And so we did it again. And it sounds pretty basic, but you can actually do a lot of manipulation with the paint on your canvas. And so there's a lot of variations you can do. We also this spring worked in the ceramics studio, and the kids made whistles that had animals on them, which is actually it's a difficult thing to make a whistle that actually whistles. So Jean is our volunteer who's a retired art teacher, and she came and led the project and showed everybody how to make, there's one of the whistles, whistles that whistle. And then coming back around in the spring, we worked on drawing self-portraits then based on the kids' sparks that they'd identified. And so Jean worked with them. They drew a small version of it, and then she worked with them to do a bigger version, looking at how to draw people and how to have the right proportions on people. And then the portraits they got painted. And then the people who are here for worship have seen, then we had all of the portraits up on the wall here. So there's dancing and singing. This is playing video games. This is playing guitar. This is doing hair, playing football, painting. This is playing video games with his brother, who also liked to play video games. And then the other project this spring was the master gardeners coming to build raised beds with us. And so they wanted to make sure that the kids got to help build these raised beds. So the kids helped put dirt in one of the raised beds, and then they also helped the following week to put mulch all around the raised beds. And so now there's already stuff planted in the beds, and then this summer we'll plant more. And then, yeah, just a bunch of good times with kids, getting to know families, getting to know the kids more. And that's and that was the year. And it actually, at the beginning of the year, we had no idea what to expect, and it was just a wonderful thing to have gone all the way through the year, have done some good things, and also just had the kids here. So yeah. Right. And then I'm going to play. Then one of the other projects that the kids did was they did an add-on story where each kid that was here one day added a sentence to the story. And so as the story progressed, it got more and more strange and weird and interesting. And then once they had created the story, then they illustrated each individual section of the story. And then I'm not sure all of the people who, I think it was Spencer and Leslie, then put it into a video, and the kids also recorded themselves reading the story, and so it turned out really well too. So I'm going to show that. It has closed captions. The people here in the room, I think I figured out a way to make sure that there's no feedback for everybody at home, so we can hear it. But it's very helpful having closed captions because it's kids. All right. So that was another just nice thing. All right. So that, I think, concludes my portion of the evening. All right, you ready for the microphone, John? Okay.
Okay. All right. So thank you. I think that shows some of the cool stuff, a lot of the cool stuff that the kids did this year. I'm just going back to the Sparks. Some people online shared Sparks. So Sean's Spark was music, her work at Patchwork and cooking. Natasha Hayes' Spark is working out, which actually she and I talked about that recently, about physical fitness and all of that. So that's pretty cool. Helen Templeton, one of Helen's Sparks is reading mysteries. One of Jean's Sparks is researching family history. So very cool. All right. So now we come to a time of sharing prayers of the people for both concerns and joys. I have several concerns here to share. Darlene's, I don't know if you have any updates. We know that Diane has been diagnosed with cancer. I believe it was pancreatic, is that right? Pancreatic cancer, and Janet has dementia that is Alzheimer's that is progressing quite quickly. So keeping both Diane and Janet in prayer. Also just got word that Cece Gerlitz is in the hospital. She was a previous member of the Patchwork community, very active in Patchwork. She's in the hospital with lung and kidney problems. And so we keep Cece in prayer. Keep Patchwork in prayer as the CDC guidance is sometimes less than specific about what to do with vaccinated and unvaccinated people all in the same space, and masking and distancing and all of that. So as we kind of try to struggle through hopefully coming out of the pandemic, and kind of what to do when is a difficult or a series of difficult decisions to make. So keep Patchwork in prayer for that. And then on the world stage, obviously our prayers are with the people of Palestine and also the people of Myanmar, with the violence happening there. So in those places and others around the world. Are there other prayers for joy or concern?
Yes, I have one. I don't know if you remember the young man that lived next door to me that got shot back in the head. He's home today. This is his first day of being home after 2 years. He cannot walk yet, but he can talk and move talk. So
Darlene is saying prayers of joy, or at least relief. Yeah, joy that the young man who lives next to her, who was shot, is back home now, and he's not at full functioning yet, but he is hopefully making progress, and he is home. So that's a joy. Any others? Okay. All right. Well, I'm not seeing any others in the comment section at the moment, but for those of you at home, if you want to put prayer requests in the comment section, and then anybody who sees that can include those in their prayers. Let's go to God in a spirit of prayer. God, you are the great physician, the healer of every ill. We ask that your healing power flow through us this day, this week, and into all of our tomorrows. Healing for individuals like Diane and Janet and the young man who's a neighbor of Darlene's, all the way to entire communities and nations in the world. We lift up in prayer, particularly this day, the people of Palestine and the people of Myanmar, for parents who have lost children, children who have lost parents, for houses that have completely crumbled, for violence that seems to only beget more violence. We ask, God, that you cure your children's warring madness, as the hymn says, to bring us to a place of nonviolence and peacemaking, of settling our differences and disputes in more productive ways. God, we also lift up in prayer Cece as she is in the hospital, and lift up her lungs and her kidneys and healing for them. We lift up Patchwork and all of the ways that it is a source of healing for people in our neighborhood, in our community, and beyond. May wisdom and discernment for Patchwork and for all kinds of communities and institutions be there as we hopefully come out of this pandemic and as we make difficult decisions about what to do at what time that will be the safest and healthiest for the people we serve. God, all of this we pray in your holy name. Amen. We come to a time of sharing gifts, and of course we pass the basket for gifts, financial gifts that support Patchwork and everything we do here, but we also share gifts that are too big for the basket so that everyone can enjoy them. So we have gifts to share. Flowers are gifts, yes. Yeah. Not sure. Let me get out of the way of the camera there. Other gifts. Well, we are a community richly blessed, and for all of these good gifts, we give God thanks. So we're about to sing again to prepare ourselves to come around the communion table. So we'll sing Lord of All Hopefulness. It's number 34 in the Patchwork Songbook. Seeing if we have any other things to share from online here. Okay. We're good. So we come and we prepare to gather around this table and share this meal as we at Patchwork do every Sunday and as Christians and have been doing for literally millennia. And as we do this time after time, there may be a bit of cynicism that creeps in about what good is this? What good has it done the world simply to gather around a table and eat a little bread and drink a little juice or wine from a cup? But when you think about how that started with just Jesus and his 12 friends sitting at a table, and how the symbol of the bread and cup is now worldwide, and how it has inspired millions, perhaps billions, me certainly, I can vouch for, to have greater compassion, to have a greater awareness of our interdependence with each other and with God and with God's creation, to have a greater inspiration, greater spark for sharing forgiveness and joy and love and justice. And so I hope that this does spark something in you, if not tonight, maybe next week or the following or some other Sunday. And I hope that spark does ignite and that you spread it in your families and households throughout the community, and that it spreads throughout the world. Because it was on the night that Jesus was betrayed that he gathered just with those few friends in an upper room. And at the table, he took the bread and he gave thanks for it, and he blessed it and he broke it. And he said, "Take and eat. This is my body broken for you. Do this in remembrance of me." And after supper, in like manner, he took the cup and he said, "Drink of this cup, all of you. For poured out in this cup is the new covenant in my blood. I will not drink of the fruit of the vine with you again until we drink it new, in God's new reality." And so for you here, I invite you to come in at my right, your left. I will hand you a piece of bread, and then you can take a cup. The metal plate has wine, the white ceramic plate has juice, and everyone is welcome at the table. Please come forward. Amy, the bread of life given for you. Karen, the bread of life given for you. Gail, the bread of life given for you. Bill, the bread of life given for you. Helen, the bread of life given for you. Phil, the bread of life given for you. Darlene, the bread of life given for you. Our service is almost concluded. We will sing one more time before we go, but we do have several announcements before that. So first announcement is there is a community meeting scheduled for tonight, but we are not sure how to make that work with some people present physically and some people at home on Zoom. So I don't know if we want to talk more about that now or wait until after worship, but we could do perhaps as everybody on Zoom tonight, or put off the meeting for another week or two. I don't think we can do a hybrid tonight. I don't think that's possible
I don't think we can do Zoom.
tonight.
I would rather not try to do Zoom.
Amy's saying she would rather not try to do a Zoom meeting tonight. So perhaps we can.
One suggestion that was thrown out by some people here would be to do a Zoom, a community meeting that's all on Zoom. Have it be a little bit after the service ends, so everyone who's here can get home, maybe get a little snack, and then meet. If people are willing to do that, that would be one option that could include everybody. People would just have to be willing. That would have to appeal to people.
So Amy's proposal is that not drop my phone, that would be part of it. But Amy's proposal is that we wait until the end of this worship service. We wait a little bit for the people who are here physically to get home, maybe have a little something to eat, and then start a Zoom meeting. So maybe 30 minutes after worship ends. Not tonight, but perhaps next Sunday or the following.
That would give me a chance to send out a link to everyone like this week.
Okay. So people can weigh in. I guess the best way to do that is on the email list. Okay, so weigh in, please, on the email list, how you would like, if that works for you, to do a Zoom community meeting sometime in the next week or two. So we'll get that worked out. So no community meeting tonight after worship. The Patchwork Board is meeting this Tuesday, the 18th, at 5:30 by Zoom. So if you're a board member, please keep that in mind and please join us. Also this week, Sean is doing potlucks at her house, but we are not doing it this Thursday. She's doing every other Thursday. So we had one this past Thursday, no potluck this Thursday, but a week from this Thursday, we'll be scheduled to have a potluck at Sean's house. Also to announce, the first Fridays of the summer begin in June. The first Friday is June 4th. So Patchwork's building will not be open to the public except to use the restrooms, but we will have food trucks and music outside. Are there any other announcements for the good of the community? Okay, I'm going to pick up my phone very quickly and then we will sing again. So our song is going to be the Garden Song, since we were talking about the children's program. It's number 20 in the Patchwork Songbook. And since we don't really have piano music for it, I'm going to try to lead it on harmonica. So we'll see how this works. So I'll do a little intro and then we'll all start singing together. And I guess you can stand and sing. All right. And let the people of God say.